getting this wall ready to go. Pioneer Valley Habitat for Humanity builds homes in Hampshire and Franklin counties. When we're building homes, we're not really just building walls. What we're building is strength, stability, and self-reliance for our future homeowners. And we're so excited to be raising a wall today for our 55th, 56th, and 57th homes. One of the neighbors next door, her grandfather used to live in the house that was here on this property, and someone gave me a sign that said Victoria Bismark and said that it was in this house that was here. So we named this project Victoria Bismark Farm in honor of the neighbors. You know, the history of this land goes back much further than the farmhouse.
As Megan mentioned, this was home to others before us. So as we raise the first walls for the new homes to be built on this property in current day Northampton, we would like to acknowledge that it stands on unceded land of the Nipmuc, meaning freshwater people, and Pocumtuck, meaning clear stream people, who settled and worked this land before colonists arrived. The indigenous people were mostly killed by disease, war, or were driven off their land by the colonists. Many had to assimilate into other tribes, but their ancestors are still among us. Pioneer Valley Habitat for Humanity has made a commitment to educate ourselves so that we do no further harm and support the healing of our indigenous community.
Thank you, Peter. Well, home means something different to each of us. I mentioned already that at Habitat we talk about strength, stability, and self-reliance. And the future homeowners here have already been working to demonstrating those skills. They have completed a rigorous application process. They've met with their mentors, signed up for first-time homebuyer classes, done an orientation so that they can sign up for construction. And it was just a few weeks ago that I got the pleasure of calling each of these families to let them know that after their hard work on the application, they had been selected in the lottery. We had over 60 applications for these 3 houses, so the need is great. But self-reliance does not mean doing things all by yourself. There's a whole community here of people who want to give these future home buyers the strong foundation and strong walls to help build a future. I'd like to thank some of the early supporters and contributors to the project to date, and we know we'll have more names to add by the end of the project. The City of Northampton, including the Community Preservation Act and the many town city departments that have contributed to this, and we'll hear from them soon, to Florence Bank, to the Federal Home Loan Bank of Boston, to Bill Ashley, Mass Save, Smith Vocational and Agricultural High School, Kohl's Building Supply, PV Squared, Attorney Bill Riley, Whirlpool. You can see this list as from national companies to local people contributing to make this project. And I'd like to now move to learn a little bit more about the history of this site and hear from our local officials, starting with the mayor of Northampton.
I am just so excited to be here on this beautiful day with all of you and to be able to meet the partner families, which is really special. Creating housing, especially affordable housing, has been a centerpiece concern of mine since I first ran for City Council almost 10 years ago. I'm extremely proud of the work that the city's been doing to create opportunities for housing, especially with Habitat, which is such a vital organization that provides unique housing for an economically diverse community where the market and others really can't. So we're so grateful for your work. And we're very excited to start yet another Habitat family project here in Northampton. This, along with the build-out that is nearing completion just down the road in Bird's Pit, represent our ongoing and long-standing partnership with Habitat and to bringing housing for families in Northampton. Though many sites that the city has found to develop in partnership with Habitat can take several years to come to fruition, this project in particular has had what seems to be an interminably long and circuitous history, which makes it such an even more special celebration today. This parcel began its journey towards affordable housing 30 years ago. In 1994, as part of the disposition of land from the former Northampton State Hospital, the legislature determined that this parcel, along with several others, would be dedicated to the Northampton Housing Authority for the purposes of providing housing for the Department of Mental Health clients. The land was officially deeded to the Northampton Housing Authority in 1996. That's the year I graduated from college. In 2002, there were still no plans for this parcel, yet the previous buildings still sat condemned on the property. The Housing Authority, knowing that there was a reversion clause back to the Commonwealth that they could not build on the site, developed site plans with assistance from the planning office. Though such plans were developed and reviewed to build housing for DMH clients, NHA could not find the capacity to move forward with the permitted plans. By 2016, the Housing Authority formally voted to relinquish the property back to the Commonwealth with the goal that the city could receive the property and facilitate its redevelopment for affordable housing. It took 4 more years working through the Commonwealth before the city was able to accept the land to facilitate its use for affordable housing. Fast forward 3 more years to this day, where after working with our planning office, Habitat is ready to build yet more 3 single family homes at this site. We know that it's been a very long history for the city and the neighborhood, with questions about who and when the site would be developed. Now we have neighbors to join the neighborhood and a great project that will bring housing to those who might otherwise not be able to arrive or to afford to stay in Northampton. I want to acknowledge and thank former Director of Planning and Sustainability, Wayne Fiden, and our current Director of Planning and Sustainability, Carolyn Nish, and almost the entire Department of Planning and Sustainability is here today. And I just want to thank them for all of their work for these many, many years that then bring us here today for this really wonderful occasion. And I really want to thank them for their very deep commitment to affordable housing. So much of what makes Northampton special involves this department's leadership, and I'm extremely honored to work with all of them. Thank you, Habitat, for being a great partner and for being flexible about all the different projects, sites that we've been finding for you. And we look forward to future projects that you also have on your build list. So thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for all it took to get us to this place. I'm eternally grateful, Northampton's grateful, and we welcome our new neighbors. Thank you.
It's great to be here, and as the mayor said, there was a very long history to this parcel, and I was here when the Housing Authority initially came forward with a potential project, and we were excited to see them finally moving forward, and then sort of disappointed when they couldn't move that forward. But it's really sort of an example of, even though that was sort of a uniquely long history for this site, it's sort of an example of the hurdles that often are sort of pop up, especially for affordable housing projects. And so it's not only timing, but it's money and finding the right sites. But that's why it's important from the city's perspective and our office to find ways to support and facilitate development of affordable housing in particular, to help overcome these hurdles. And through the dedication and leadership of my predecessor, Wayne Fiden, who I think you'll hear from in a minute, our office has tried to work through ways to eliminate those barriers. So through regulatory changes, through financial support, or just sort of buying power. And a couple of those examples of how we do that, Habitat has been partner with us on those projects. So we've purchased land to have what we refer to as limited development, where we can accomplish both open space and conservation protection, as well as providing lots for affordable housing. And we've done that on Glendale Road, which Habitat has now been a partner in completing homes with the families. And in several other places in the city, Burt's Pit Road down the way is also another example of where we were able to permanently protect open space, but also provide housing lots. So that was done through the acquisition by the city. We also put grant dollars into this, so community development block grants, CPA funding to help support that. And more recently, we've modified our zoning further to make it even easier for the development of affordable housing, not only creating incentives, but also creating a path that's a streamlined path that's comparable to a path that's provided at the state level, but it has a lot more hurdles and complications to go through. But we've sort of mirrored that at the local level, and this housing site is actually the first build under that new zoning that was adopted a couple of years ago. So Habitat's pioneering on the new zoning for that build as well. And we did Woodland Drive, which will come at some point into your build site. And then we're looking forward to other sites as well. So we know that that's a little bit of help to support affordable housing. We know that we can't just stand on that, and we'll always be looking for new ways to provide opportunities for the development of housing. So we look forward to that, and we look forward to this great completion of this project. So thanks for partnering with us on that.
Thank you for your vision here. We really do appreciate the collaborative nature that the planning department has taken with the proactive zoning that Carolyn talked about. It has made a huge difference, and it's why we're building here today. So,
thanks. Just a couple minor things to add. One is when the mayor said it's been going on for 30 years, I guess I date myself. Like, I was hired in 1988. I think the first week I was here, the League of Women Voters convened a discussion of the future of the state hospital, and part of the big debate is how much the state hospital should be available by affordable housing, and there was sort of a friendly negotiation between the housing authority and the city for what should go to the housing authority, what should go to the city. This is sort of ironic because housing authority won the battle for this property and then wasn't able to deliver, and then later on the city took over the property. And just in terms of the collaboration piece, Carolyn went through all the pieces. There's also a state grant in here, Housing Choice, which is funding the city looking at some other parcels right now. So that collaboration hopefully will keep continuing. So thanks very much.
thank you so much.
The senator unfortunately has to be in Boston today, but just a big thank you from our office to the whole team at Habitat, and we're really just delighted to get to celebrate this. Big congratulations really to Habitat, to the city, and to the families who will call these homes home. So at a moment when quality affordable housing is both scarce and threatened, Habitat and the city of Northampton really are showing us the way. And a huge thank you too to the volunteers who are making this possible. Net zero homes at a moment like this, in addition to affordable housing, is really exactly what we need. So huge thank yous, and our office is here to continue to be supportive however we can.
Thank you.
One of the principal components to affordability, it's not the only by any means, but a very important one, and perhaps a defining one in many respects for Habitat, is that the bulk of the labor is from people who volunteer their time. Some of them are people who are still working, and they often appear on weekends. Some of them are homeowners. Very important part of the process is the commitment that the homeowners make to building their own houses and the houses for others, because they accumulate credit on any house that they support building of, I think. But then there's the regulars, the so-called regulars, which are often retired dudes and dudesses like me and this, people who find less fascination perhaps in playing golf than they do in swinging hammers. But so we keep doing this. We enjoy it. What's 56, 7, and 8, so a lot of work has been done. And we're getting better and better at it, and I think this is the thing that's very heartening for those of us that are doing this. We tend to build similar houses because, why would you change something if you don't have to, particularly when you've got a lot of volunteers coming in. It's very helpful to have something that's somewhat consistent. And we've been building these houses. They're getting progressively tighter and tighter. We test these houses, and we're now getting, for those of you that care about this sort of thing, less than 1 air change per hour at a certain designated pressure. And that is beyond very good at this point for this part of the world. So that's how it gets done. That's who we are, and that's who some of us are anyway. And I don't know how many volunteers we have, but I think I would expect that in the course of this there will be 60 or more regular volunteers, and I don't know how many irregular
And we
volunteers.
invite more. So, tell your friends
We've
to
got
come
3
work
houses,
with
so
Bruce
we've
on
got
the
a lot of work
house.
to do.
Thank you, Bruce. So building a Habitat house is this combination of volunteer labor, contractors, the support to get the land from the state and the city, the zoning to make it happen, but also the money. We still have to buy some 2x4s along the way. So I'd like to introduce one of our financial supporters. I'd like to introduce Matt Garrity, the president of Florence Bank.
It's great to be here to mark this special occasion, and I'm glad the weather cooperated. I think if this was yesterday, we'd all be wearing hip waders out here on the job site. For nearly 2 decades, Florence Bank has been proud to partner with the Pioneer Valley Habitat for Humanity and everything this great organization does to promote home ownership. During that span, we've provided over $100,000 of financial support, and dozens of our employees have lent a helping hand at projects like this one or have served as board and committee members. I'm also proud to say we have helped secure a federal home loan bank grant of $96,000 for a project right down the road from here, which will help 3 local families purchase brand new, energy efficient homes. So, let's raise a glass, or better yet, a wall, to Pioneer Valley Habitat for Humanity and everything they do to turn houses into homes. Thank you, and thank all of you for what you're doing.
Bruce talked about how we're building these homes as energy efficiently as we can. They're all electric homes, so they can be part of decarbonizing our future. And part of that is where we like to see renewable energy generation. So I'd like to introduce Brittany from PV Squared to come and talk about our partnership for solar panels. And John, it looks like
John too.
John too, Brittany and John. What was the first? Was it a decade ago?
More than a decade.
More than a decade.
We are so humbled to be a longstanding partner with Habitat for Humanity in Pioneer Valley, and we're grateful to be involved in these truly meaningful projects. As a worker-owned cooperative, serving our communities in this way is at the very core of our values. Our mission at PV Squared is to energize a brighter future for people and planet with heart and humanity. And if this is not the most stellar example of that, I don't know what is. So thank you all, this is wonderful. The best part about the gift of solar is that it keeps on giving. We hope that the PV system that will be on these 3 homes can offer some small amount of financial flexibility for these 3 families and provide them and our beloved Valley community confidence that we're all committed to a greener and healthier future. On behalf of PV Squared Solar, we trust that the happiest memories will be made in these beautiful homes and clean energy will be generated. We wish nothing but health and happiness here, and congratulations.
Powered by the sun and volunteers and local bank. We've got a lot going on here, but we haven't heard from the most important people yet, which is our home buyers for these houses. I'd like to introduce our mentors. So in addition to our volunteers who swing hammers, we have volunteers who serve on committees here at Pioneer Valley Habitat and put in hundreds of hours to make the organization work. One of those committees is our Family Support Committee. These mentors commit to partnering with the family for the whole construction process and a year afterwards. So it's a really important part of our model. There's a lot of people to talk to at Habitat, and the homeowners can say, just pick up the phone to their mentor, and then the mentor will connect them to the rest of the organization. So we keep building more homes, so we need more mentors. So if that's something that appeals to you too, for future projects, we'd love to see you get involved. Thank you. All right. Yeah, let's go around this side.
I have the honor today of introducing you to one of our families, Giovanna and her children. I have known Giovanna for about 2 months. We've known each other, and she has already been working hard on So, besides welcoming you with these beautiful flowers,
Thank you.
there's something that I would like to share with you, okay? And the rest of you, because you're here. When I first became a volunteer with Habitat, I had access to some books relating to the history of Habitat for Humanity. And I read some books by Millard Fuller, the founder of Habitat. And there I found some references to former President Jimmy Carter. As many of you know, he's a strong advocate of Habitat. After all of his travels around the world, he said, "I don't know of anything I've ever seen that more vividly illustrates love in action than Habitat for Humanity. It's inspirational and practical. It draws people together who've known each other for a long time. It also makes new friends for you every day that you work with Habitat. And as we have experienced lately with our weather and trying to figure out build days, it's a challenge because you never know what's going to happen next. I hope you will be able to witness this love in action and make lots of new Pioneer Valley Habitat for Humanity friends in the year to come."
I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. We are so grateful to stay within Northampton and for them to continue their education in sports within Northampton. So thank you.
We're going to raise one wall today, but you can see we have 3 foundations. So we're going to introduce 3 families today.
So I have the pleasure of introducing Grishka and her son Jaden and her daughter Deviana. I got it. So I met Grishka when we signed the agreement, but it's been we've met since then, and it's just been an absolute pleasure so far. Except I got here this morning in an absolute panic because she wasn't here. She wasn't here. I texted her. She didn't answer. She wasn't here. And then all of a sudden I realized these people with these funny hats on. So they were been building since 9 this morning. Isn't that fabulous? So they're on their way. And just a little for you. And just one little brief story also. Shortly after Grishka I met for the first time, we're talking on the phone, and she says, "We have to move." They had to move. They were living with his soul.
Yes.
Yeah, and she had to move, and she found another place, thank goodness. But it's just a reminder of housing instability and how this will end is the day they walk through the door of their new home. So this is just wonderful, and thank you all for coming.
I was one of the families that got chosen. I was very sad to leave Northampton, but very happy that we're coming back. So thank you guys all. I don't even know what to say. Yeah, thank you.
So it is my pleasure today to meet and introduce Sarah and Tim. And the nice story is that they have known each other since they were kids. They're childhood sweethearts. So, and here they are now with us in Northampton. So we're very happy. And they have 4 children, Jasmine, Jessica, Ryan, and Lily, that will be able to live in one of our homes.
I'd just like to say thank you. This means the world to me. I lost my mom in the same day that we were finishing up some of the things we had to do for her. I got the call saying that we received the house, so it was like a very big moment for us. It was a hard time with a good time all at once.
Well, thank you for being here. They're going to do their final prep over the next 5 minutes, and then when Bruce gives us, or Walt gives us the all clear, then anyone with a hard hat, we have some extras over here, is welcome to help raise the wall. And then we have 2 2x4s on the back there. Once the wall is raised, we'd love it if you take a Sharpie and give your well wishes to the future homeowners. Do you guys all know which house is whose?
No.
Well, all right, Tim and Sarah, which house is yours?
The middle one.
The middle one, okay. Grishka, which house is yours? This one right here? All right, and then that means, Giovanna, yours is the one down on the end, right?
Right.
All right, people can come and sign these 2x4s and then sign some on this wall, but only after we've gotten it braced and stabilized. So we have to follow our safety rules. Thank you so much for taking the time here with us today. We greatly appreciate the many hands making this project happen.
So we'll go up nice and slowly. The wall's going to have to come back just a little bit, so I'll be watching how it lines up. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Right, nice and slow. Let's bring it up further. So we're pretty good. Right where we are.
Today was the first solid day of framing, really. We ceremonially tipped up a wall that we built. It's Habitat's version of a groundbreaking. And instead of a shovel in the dirt, we tip up a finished framed wall. That's what we did on this house. We have 2 others, and the homeowners for the other 2 houses signed studs, as did everybody else here. Vertical pieces of framing that we will build into the other 2 houses when we get to them, which won't be too long from now.
It's really a pleasure to be helping out these families who need a little bit of extra help to afford their own home, and they're really great to work with, and you can just see how much it means to them to get the extra help that they need to afford their own home.
What was your favorite part of the process?
I think everybody coming as a community and helping out with the homes.
Which one is going to be yours?
This one. I'm just super excited to be a part of the Habitat family.
What do you look forward to most?
Seeing the finished product after all this volunteering and everybody coming together to help us make a home like this is wonderful. A huge thank you. This is going to change my family's life. I never thought that a dream like this would come true.